Hi, this is Emiliano De Pasqual, and I will put figs on my immigrant jam.
We are back with another amazing episode. This one is very special to me this week. Well, first of all, welcome to Immigrant Jam, the podcast. It's me, Lucie, your host. But this week is very special. The guest is very special to me because I love this man very, 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 very much. He's the reason why I don't look insane every day of my life. Welcome, Emiliano De Pasqual
Thank
to
you,
Immigrant
baby.
Jam.
I'm true honored to be here.
Well, Emiliano is the best hairdresser, hairstylist, hair magician, hair wizard in the world. Emiliano is a hair artist.
Yes, I am.
And a truly amazing human being, a father, a husband, and also from the country Italy. Ever heard of it? People?
That's where I migrated from.
Yeah, exactly. That's your immigrant
Everybody's like, what are you
experience.
doing here? Go back to Italy. It's so beautiful there. Just
Right?
like, yes, because
Exactly.
you don't know how things work there.
That's true, I guess. I grew up going to Italy before we moved to the U.S. and I remember my dad, every time we would go, he'd go, look, it's Italy. When God made the world, he made Italy last and he had a bit of everything beautiful left over and he put it in here.
Well, that's an unusual comment from a German.
That's true, but my dad's unusual. So you are from Venezia or close to Venezia.
I like to say Venezia just because everybody won't know where I'm from. I'm actually from the province of Treviso, which is a half an hour away from Venice. But I am a tourist when I go to Venice, and I love it.
And so are you, is it a city or a town you're from? Or
I'm
village?
from a little village, actually, of 5,000 people of Treviso.
What's it called?
Well, I kind of move around my whole childhood from little town to little town. So I'm not really from one little town. I'm from many little towns. But they all run around each other. One was called Spresiano. The other one was called Ponte della Priola. The one where my parents actually live and my grandma used to live is called Nervesa della Battaglia.
Listen to this. It's like, where are you from? Arkansas. I'm from Nervesa della Battaglia.
Well, but let me tell you, man, when I say
I know.
village, is a village.
But it
were
must
all
be
villages.
beautiful.
It is beautiful. I mean, nature-wise, that area tend to be very diverse because, but first of all, we have the sea, a half an hour away of Venice. Then we can see from there the Dolomites, and all the area where I live is actually quite hills, and it's a winemaking area.
Oh, that's so nice.
And so it's kind of, I grew up next to a river called Piave,
Wow.
where I grew up exploring. Because when
Why did you guys move around so much?
Well, my parents were trying to start from the beginning, and they ran the first apartment in one place, then the second one in another. They were all little town, one next to each other, but they were.
It wasn't a mafia thing.
No, not really. Mafia's in the south.
So horrible. That's such a it wasn't because you had to run from a pizza making mafia who wanted to steal your rigatoni. That's like the worst stereotype ever. I'm just kidding. I know that. You have told me that you grew up going to Germany, right, with your dad, or
well,
your
my
dad
father
would
has
go
been,
to Germany.
my whole family, all the men in my family, my father, my grandfather, my uncle, they were all truck driver. They, they still are. My grandfather unfortunately passed away, but my father and my uncle still are. So I kind of the first one who break the cycle in a way.
Amazing.
Actually, when I told them I wanted to be a hairdresser, they were like, "What?"
They fell over.
Yes.
So did they think you were going to be a truck driver?
Well, I don't know if they assumed that I was going to be a truck driver, but they would have loved to. They're really actually proud and how can I say? They really love what they do. I mean, my father is like one of those truck drivers that his old truck is like this special edition with all the lights and the paint, the special painting and the special custom.
That's
and,
amazing.
Yeah, he's truly passionate. He
What
watches
does
it
he
3 times a
drive?
week. He drives to Germany.
And what does he have in the truck?
Anything really. For many, many years, actually, he was working for the NATO base, the American NATO base, which were they were bringing
Dildos.
dildos. German
sorry.
dildos.
Yeah, German
bratwurst.
engineering dildos. German dildos that look like bratwurst. My dad is very proud of what he does, you know.
Yeah,
So he
but
was bringing supplies?
it didn't fall into the job. Like my grandfather was a truck driver, and he had a company with like many trucks and drivers. And my father's been doing that since he was 18. Actually, maybe younger than. He was driving without even a driver license at the time.
That's cool. And you would go with him? Am I getting that right? That you went
in
to
the
Germany with
summertime,
him?
I was going to keep him company and just see what he was doing.
And you'd sleep in the truck, or how does
sleep
that
in the
work?
truck. I still have memories that they were telling me that the first time he took me, I was about 3 years old, and it was a very snowstorm type of week. And in the middle of the night, I wake up and I needed to take a pee-pee, and he actually brought me out from the bed and put me out from the window of the truck to make me piss outside.
While it was moving?
No, while we were sleeping, because there's not a bathroom in a truck, obviously.
And he just held you out of the window.
Pretty much.
That's so funny. Imagine you drive by that.
First time
you're
I
like,
took you. Yeah.
That's so cute. And so how did that come about? Because I read an article about you, and it says that you knew you wanted to be a hairdresser at 5.
Yeah, no, well,
Is that
5,
true?
maybe that's a lie. I kind of find, I was always intrigued by hairdressers. I remember going to the little local hair salon in my town and just being fascinated by watching those people working and socializing with their clients.
That's so cool.
It didn't feel like a job. That's what I like about it.
Uh-huh.
And my father and mother, they sent me to accounting school.
What?
As a high school in Italy, it's called Ragioneria.
Wow.
And well, I didn't last long.
Yeah.
And in the middle of the year, I kind of dropped off. And I told them that I wanted to try to go to beauty school pretty much.
How'd
At the
they
time,
take that? How'd they react?
well, my mother has always saw the artistry in me. My father always find me as a different child, and he never really quite embraced it. He always kind of fight it in a way. But he said, is that what you really want to do? Because it seems like you change an idea every week. I will. You can find a job and pay for the school as it was kind of late in the year, and the public school was already full. They were only taking 40 or 50 students a year, and there was only an option as a private school. It was called La Parisienne, Le Parisien, the Paris beauty school.
And you were how
I remember
old?
that at the time I was 14 to 15.
Wow.
Yeah. And I remember at the time I found a job as a plumber. That was the only other job I ever done in my life in the last 25 years.
Yeah. You were a plumber?
Yeah, I did it for 6 months. And I was doing industrial plumbing, actually, not just home plumbing. And I did it for 6 months,
wild.
and I was working away, and I was actually working in some canteen in off Verona, where they make the Soave wine. And so we were basically welding.
Where Romeo and Juliet is
Pretty much.
set?
We were welding some huge industrial tubes that connect all those, I don't even know how to call those machinery, how they,
Yeah, for the CEOs to
Pretty
put the
much.
big shits into.
Pretty much. And I saved up enough money to pay for the first year of school. And I said, let's see how that was going to work out. And of course, first day of school, I noticed there was me, another couple of guys, and the rest was all women.
Yeah.
And, it just came as a natural thing for me in a way. And I was intrigued by the first moment.
And did you know about any other hairdressers? Did you
No, not
have
at the time.
idols? Where you're I want to be like the Vidal Sassoon guy.
Well, I wish I knew about Vidal Sassoon back then. No, I didn't know much about it.
Did
all
your
I
friends make fun of you? Or
No.
tease you or bully you? Or
No, not at all, to
No?
be honest with you. No, I mean, I was really driven to it. I was very interested in it. I was like, let me try to see if this can be something that can be a career,
Yeah.
And, I never did anything else ever since. And, I'm here talking to you because of what I do.
So was the beauty school in
It was in Treviso, actually.
in Treviso? Okay.
I felt great, honestly. It was like a completely different, way of going to school, meaning like half the time I was studying, the regular thing like English and Italian and math and stuff like that. And the other half was studying hairdressing.
That's amazing.
And that's divided in the way what you study and what you practice. So in the afternoon, we were having like local clients, women that couldn't afford to go to the hairdresser, and they were paying like a fraction of the price.
Yeah, and
they were
let
getting
a 15-year-old cut her hair.
Exactly.
I love
Pretty
it.
much, they were getting vandalized from us.
Vandalized.
Pretty much, man. I still remember what I did one time. There were all those sinks where you wash hair. No, there were like
Yeah.
6 sinks, one next to each other. And one day, I don't remember if I was flirting with a girl. I don't remember what the deal is, but I remember that I didn't realize I was pushing on one of the things too hard, and basically I created a domino effect, and one fell on top of the other, on top of the other, on top of the other, and I kind of was able to break all 6 porcelain.
No way.
My parents had to pay, I don't remember, a couple of $1,000 of pain for the whole thing. It was super embarrassing.
Oh
actually.
my God.
Yeah, I was pretty troubled as a kid.
But what do you mean troubled? That you got
I was
into
getting
a
in
lot
trouble.
of trouble?
Yes, I did. I was quite of a rebel, and you know, my father was very square, so I was trying to do everything I could to go against all the rules that he was imposing on me.
So you were fighting a lot with him?
Yeah, we were like cat and dogs. Like I said, he's even though he's a young man at the time, because they had me at 19 and 20, he was very square into the way he see life. And he never really had you know, I never really been exposed to art of any kind, music, movies, any of that. So anything that for him was different was not good. And I was quite embracing everything that was different. So.
But did somebody show you that stuff, or did you just find it yourself? Because a lot of times in
I
those
was always
stories,
driven
it's like
from
an
it.
uncle or something.
No, not at the time. Not at the time.
So you
after
just found it
after there was a
yourself.
lot of mentors down the road, but at that at the beginning of it, it was just my curiosity, what I was driven to. You know, I never been great at any sport, but I was always, you know, into music, into fashion, into art, into movies. You know, I was raised by Jean-Claude Van Damme and fucking Stallone and Charles Bronson. I think that the
Oh my
American
God.
dream kind of started there.
Okay.
Without a doubt.
So you were always kind of thinking you're going to get out.
Go.
So that's where your America, your dream or your idea to go to
Well, I mean,
America?
I grew up watching Miami Vice for dinner with my family every night, and every possible American show and movies. So I guess initially that was what drew my attention towards it. You know,
I love you guys were watching Miami Vice,
I
and now you
was.
live in Miami. We
Funny
forgot
enough,
to say that
you know
you
that
actually live in Miami.
I do. We live in Miami now, between Miami and New York, actually.
Yeah.
You know, funny enough, there is a picture of my grandma's house that I was probably 7 or 8 years old, and I'm wearing a Miami Dolphin t-shirt. I don't know how the fuck that happened, but yes.
That's great. That's so
No,
great.
but I always dreamed to live in America. I remember one day with one of my best friends when I was a child, we wrote these secret messages and we put it under the soil in a little box, saying that one day we were riding Harley Davidson in America. So like, but for sure, I think movies was the big trigger, the big dream in a way. All those movies that I always grew up watching.
So you were looking at Jean-Claude Van Damme and you were like, damn, if I could cut that guy's hair.
But well, that was
He
maybe
would look
Lorenzo
really
Lamas
good.
actually, the renegade. I dreamed the long hair, the Harley
Yes.
Davidson. Yeah, that's for sure intrigued me. Yeah, without a doubt.
That's so funny. So you were 15, you went to the school, and then you graduated, and
Yeah.
then what's the first thing you did
And
after
then I got a
that?
job in a little town outside Treviso. I was called Punto Gabria. This lady was called Gabriella. And I worked there for a year. It was a small salon, nothing pretentious. But I knew I wanted more. And that's where the magic happened, because I knew the best salon in the whole kind of region, not in the region, sorry, in the provincia of Treviso. One of the best salons was this guy Fiorenzo. And I went there and I applied for a job. And I got a job there. And this guy to this day is my mentor.
Really?
Yes. He for sure opened a lot of doors to me about fashion, about movies, about everything really. He knew about architecture and design and interior design. I mean, his salon looked like out of this world for that time, and the way everybody were dressing, I was like, wow, this is my place.
That's
you know?
so cool. So you like found a home there in a way.
Yeah, and also you were actually mentioning Vidal Sassoon. 4 or 5 years into this job, I worked there since I was maybe 17.
Wow.
Till about 22. I remember when I was 20 years old, there was this opportunity to do this masterclass at Vidal Sassoon in London. And for some reason, he couldn't make it. And he offered me the opportunity to go. And
Your boss.
yes,
Yeah.
this guy that I was mentioning to you, Fiorenzo. And so I went, and I was basically the only, because in Italy, or I guess in Europe in general, there is, in all the world, the two biggest hair companies are Wella and L'Oreal, right?
Yeah.
So they organized a trip for hairdresser to showcase their best stylists around the world and stuff, and to visit the cities with it.
Wow.
So they invited me to go to London for 6 days, and I'm working at Vidal Sassoon, and of course when I arrived there I was 18, and I saw those international hairdresser, and I that opened a whole new world to me, and what could have been, because until then the dream was to open a salon, and be in my own town and have a salon and be a salon owner and develop my own concept in a way.
Right.
But when I saw that, that created the obsession of that's what I want,
And so you knew from that moment on it has to be New York, because the first place was New York.
Well, the first place was London actually, but the dream was always in New York. So I worked for a little at the academy there, and then I saved up some money, and the dream was to come to New York and try to get a job. So I think it was 2002, maybe. It was a year after the Twin Tower attack. Me and my girlfriend at the time, I organized this 3 weeks vacation in New York, and I rented an apartment, I still remember, in Union Square. And basically, I had so many expectations and dreams. I was like convinced I was going to find a job and stay here.
Right.
But so I came and I was blown away. I mean, my expectation was not even close to what I actually find and what I actually was, impressed by.
Yeah.
And the journey started by me going to every salon. I didn't even know what kind of salon to go to, but every salon that I looked from the outside, that looked cool, I went to knock at their door. And
you just walked up?
Yeah. And I went.
Did you speak English?
A little bit, English base and whatever I learned in London.
And so you said, I'll do anything here?
Well, I kind of say, hi, my name is Emiliano, I'm a hairdresser from Italy. My dream is to work in the United States. I would love to find someone who can sponsor me and give me the chance to be here.
And how many people said no before you found
Everyone
a yes?
said no.
Everyone?
Everyone said no. I went to, dozens of salons. Wow. But the answer was always the same. Look, you don't have papers. You don't have a clientele. I can hire any day an American person who can do the job. So that was kind of more the story. And that was the same answer I got for 3 weeks, pretty much. The last day of this trip, the lady who actually rented me this apartment, I was, when I first arrived and I met her, I explained her, my journey, what I was trying to do. And she goes, I was thinking about it, and I met this other girl and I was telling her about you. And she says she knows this hairdresser, Fabio. Shout out to Fabio Scalia, actually, because without him, I wouldn't be here today. And she goes, he just opened a salon in Brooklyn Heights on Montague Street. You should go say hi. Maybe he can give you some advice. At the time in 2003, Brooklyn Heights or Brooklyn in general wasn't what it is today.
No, for
And in
sure.
fact, I wasn't even, funny enough, the part I love the most about New York today is Brooklyn. But at the time, I didn't even cross my mind to actually visit Brooklyn. So I never really been to Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And it was the last day of the vacation. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck it, I'm going to go check it out. So I took the train. I went to Brooklyn Heights. I went to this salon. It was called Femina.
Femina?
Yes, the super cheesy name, but that was the name at the time. And I walked into this place and I introduced myself, and he had a little backyard in the back. And, I was like, same story again. I'm just here arriving. I'm here in vacation. I'm trying to find a job. Parapim, parapam.
Yeah.
And some way, somehow, he must have seen something in me that reminded him of him when he arrived, probably 10 or 7 years before.
Yeah.
So he calls his sister, he's like, give her a haircut. I'm like, right now? I don't have scissors with me.
Sister.
Yes.
His sister's like,
She's like, don't worry about it, I'll lend you a pair of mine. I'm like, sure. So I give her a haircut.
No.
And
Watch your hand.
Oops, sorry.
Yeah.
And he goes, I'll sponsor you. I'm like,
so you gave her a haircut?
I gave her a haircut.
And it was amazing? What did you do?
I don't know if it was amazing. I don't remember even what kind of haircut I gave her. If it was a trim, if I
You're
gave
like,
her
I was in a trance. I don't know.
I just
shaved her
remember
head.
that once I was done with it, he goes to me, I sponsor you. I'm like, what?
Wow.
What does even that mean? Are you going to sponsor me? What is that? What is a sponsor
You
anyway?
were like, you fucking pervert.
I was like, yeah, I'm going to introduce you with Frank Ferrante, legend Italian lawyer for the Italian immigrants.
Really?
Yeah, Frank Ferrante. I still remember his name.
Frank Ferrante.
So like, yeah, you got to make a book, and we're going to make a J1 visa, which is an internship visa.
Right, yeah.
And pretty much that's what I did. I was like, first of all, I couldn't believe that on the last day, my persistence has always been kind of, I always say that whatever I achieve in my life, I think talent is probably the little part of it, but my tenacity has always been really what kind of helped me on the process in a way.
Right.
So long story short, I went back to Italy. I start working with this lawyer. I start, translating all my documents, all my diplomas, whatever it was needed to get that J1. And March 18, 2003, I came back and I started working for him in Brooklyn Heights.
Wow.
And that's how I got my started.
Wow, that's so crazy.
And I'll tell you something else. While I was on my 20s, I had this really misadventure happening to me where I sold a friend of mine, 5 grams of weed.
Oh, okay.
And this guy he got it to somebody else, and the guy got stopped by the police, and they convinced them to tell them who sold it to him. So my name came out, so I had a lawsuit against me.
In Italy?
Yeah, for something as stupid as 5 grams of weed.
Not a lawsuit.
There was an investigation actually, and I have 2 people signed against me.
Like a criminal case.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So I booked this whole trip to come to New York for the first time. And when I'm waiting for my passport, because I didn't have a passport yet, because I never really been anywhere but in Europe.
Right.
And while I'm waiting for the passport, it's been a month and the passport doesn't arrive until, I called the passport office and they said, you have an investigation on your name and that's why we haven't been able to give you the passport. I'm like, fuck.
Shit.
Also because I already booked the flight, I paid for the apartment that I was supposed to stay here, and that was all my life saving at the time.
Wow.
Long story short, 6 days before the flight, I got my my passport and I come to New York. While I was here on those 3 weeks, before I even find this guy to sponsor me, 2 weeks into it, and it took 2 years for the investigation. But lucky enough, with long story short, I was able to come out clean out of this investigation. And the first person who actually was the one, blaming other people, was the one who took all the
heat.
The heat.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I was here in New York when my lawyer called me. And that's a sliding doors, because if you have any dirt in your...
You're done.
You're done. You're not going to get any visa to come to the United States.
Never. No citizenship, no green card.
For something as ridiculous as that, I wouldn't be here today if that didn't clear up.
That's lucky.
Yeah.
That's the universe or whatever that is.
Yeah, I was a huge sliding doors. Without a doubt.
Wow.
Yeah. And the same thing also as well, the last day, finding the job. Persistence as well, but luck, luck and the destiny. I believe in destiny.
Yeah, I believe in destiny
that was my
too.
destiny.
So now you've been here for
I just arrived.
Almost 20 years.
Yeah, almost 20 years.
19 years.
Yeah.
2003, right?
Yeah, 2 kids.
That's crazy.
Married.
And your wife is Cuban.
My wife is
also
Cuban.
Also an immigrant.
Another immigrant jam star.
Another immigrant jam
definitely
star.
Off the boat, that one. I'm off the airplane. She was definitely off the boat. So proud of her.
But you still, I think it's always amazing, this is going to be a generalization, but I don't care. Italians seem to always manage to keep their, to have a very strong Italian community wherever they go. I feel like all the
Italian
Italians...
like parsley, man. They're everywhere.
I know, but all the Italians I know have an Italian group of friends wherever they live. Germans aren't like that. Germans don't want to know each other. I grew up with my
Jews?
dad. Yeah, exactly. The Jews stick together. But my dad would go, psst, psst, psst. Die sind Deutsch. They're German over there.
Yeah.
Don't speak German. We'd hide.
Well, it's funny you say
German.
that, because yes, maybe we can get along and stuff, but one of the biggest limit about Italians is that we are a country of individualism. We are great as individualists, but not very good as a collective.
Community?
As a collective.
Really?
Yeah.
Because
in fact,
outside of Italy, I feel
may
like
seem
it's
like
very
that, but if you look at it out there's a lot of big names that made it, but always as a single person, never as a community. That's always been our biggest limit. In fact, in Italy, for example, either one region to another or just a little town from another, there's so much rivalry between each other. Different dialect, different food,
right.
different lifestyle.
Yeah.
The only thing that brings us together really is soccer and the World Cup, which we're not even participating this year again for the second time. But
that's so Italian to do that. They win the Euro, and then they're like, fuck it, we'll fuck up the World Cup.
Well, for a team that won it 4 times, being not participating 2 times in a row, especially right after winning the Euro.
Better than being bad.
Yeah, for sure.
For
sure.
They're being abstinent.
Yeah, 100%.
So you were here. You started working at the salon.
I started working at the salon, and I was March when I started it, and by December I couldn't take it anymore.
Why?
Because me and the guy who actually sponsored me, Fabio, we weren't getting along, and I don't know if my ego or his ego got into the way, but I don't know. It was something that it was compatible. And in December, with no money and no connection whatsoever, and not a place to go next, I decided to quit because it was a fight every day. I was really, really bitter, and it was not what I was expecting. And also because I moved to New York, I wanted to be working in Manhattan. I didn't want to be in Brooklyn. So through a manicurist that was working there, I was able to find another gig to this other place on 33rd Street and between Park and Madison called Peter and Company. Oh my gosh, what a place I found. Some way, somehow, again, with my overconfidence, I was able to convince these people to pay me $150 a day plus tip. And I was working there 5 days a week without a clientele. Pretty much.
Nice.
Yeah. So at the time, I was making $750 plus the tips, some way, somehow. I was trying to save up to keep going to apply for the next visa because my first visa was a J1. And the J1 is an easy visa to get because it's an internet exchange visa.
Right.
But it's not going to take you nowhere because unfortunately it expires in 18 months.
18 months,
and you can't renew it. But the plus of this visa is that you get a social security number.
Right.
So even if your visa expired, you still can work legally. And that's how I took advantage of it.
So you overstayed the visa.
No, I didn't overstay the visa. So once the visa expired, after the 18 months, I went back to Italy. Also because I didn't quite know, it's hard to think, okay, I'm going to be there for 10 years or I'm going to be there for 5 years.
Right.
I was 25 at the time. I was been here for 2 years and I was like, okay, what am I going to do? I mean, what is going to be my future like? Am I going to be in the United States? Am I going to go back to Europe?
Did you feel at home here?
I did. I loved it, but I was very frustrated because I couldn't find a breakthrough. I wasn't able to work in those prime locations, in prime salon, where I was dreaming to be honest with you. Which I think also one of the things that stopped me was my ego. Meaning, I had already a lot of experience and I was very talented at the time. And every big name salon out there, they require you to be an assistant, they say, for 5 years.
Right. 5 years?
That's what they were asking to do. And my ego and my ignorance, without knowing that if you're really good, you're not going to be assisting for 5 years, obviously. But that's what everybody was telling me. So, again, short-minded, not very smart about it, and a little bit of egocentrical. I never really wanted to apply for being an assistant. Like, I'm not an assistant. I've done that before. I've been already doing this for, at the time, 10 years because 15, I went to beauty school, 25. I already, and I know I had the sparkle, So long story short, that kind of process slowed me down a few years because, again, if I was more humble at the time, I would have really just go for the job I wanted it and just shine, and I would have gonna get my chair,
So the kind of failure made you humble then? Like the fact that you had to go back to Italy and you had to kind of reset and stuff like that. Is that what made you humble?
Well,
or was
not really. No, I mean going back to Italy was just the ending of the visa and the breakup of that girlfriend that I had. So I went back for 3 months and trying to figure out, okay, so what is the next move to go back again? Because I don't have a visa anymore. And I don't know where I'm going to be working because this little Peter and Company salon is not, there was a future there, really. I was just doing my clients there and I had this, little salary there, but it wasn't like a career.
But you knew you wanted to come back to the US.
Yes, also because I had this breakup that I had with this girlfriend of mine that I brought with me to New York for the vacation and, for the first visa that I had.
Yeah.
It was my first love. It was 7 years relationship.
Wow.
And we broke up. I was heartbroken. I was completely devastated. And so when I went back home, I realized there was nothing for me out there. So those 3 months was very tough because I didn't quite know what to do with myself. But I knew that the answer was to come back and keep trying to find maybe a breakthrough. And so I was like, the only option I really have right now is to get a student visa and go to school, which is what I did.
Wow.
So I came back. And, literally I had like $800. I was sleeping with one eye closed and one eye open because and I was staying with a friend of mine, Maria, at the time that offered me to be her guest. And I went to this school on 31st Street called Zoni. And I applied for a student visa. I got an I-20 and I was supposed to be going to school every morning and in the afternoon going to work. Long story short, I thought I was smarter than that, and I never went to school.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I thought I could just go once a week and stuff. In the meantime, I'm also relocated in the city. I was doing this for a while, and all of a sudden, long story short, I was able to find a breakthrough job at Warren Tricomi, which was at the time one of the top salons in the city.
How did you do that? How did you do it?
Well, I went for an interview as well there, and the day that I walked into this place, I was actually on 57th Street, very close to here. They were actually filming a reality show.
What?
Yes, and I did the fucking work interview on camera with my broken English.
No.
I was like so embarrassed. And after this work interview on camera, while they're filming this show, they're like, okay, so you can sit outside here in the bench and wait for the owner. He's gonna come to you. So I go in the bench, I sit right there, and I see this whole show happening. Like, it was an incredible thing going on. And half an hour passed by, 1 hour passed by, and no one is even looking at me. I'm just left there like an idiot. It's like an hour and a half. And I'm like, still nobody's really talking to me. I'm trying to approach the front desk. Like, hey guys, the owner is supposed to come to me. Like, yeah, he's gonna come. It's 2 hours passed by, and again, completely ignored. So I said, you know what? Fuck this. And I left. So a few months after that, I was at a very historical, popular club called Pink Elephant. And I see the owner passing by, and he actually recognized me. He's like, hey man, what the fuck? Where did you left? I was looking to talk to you. I was there for hours. Nobody looked at me. I just felt embarrassed and I left. He's like, no, come back. So I went back again.
Go there right now and wait till I'm done clubbing.
Yeah. So again, another interview. They're like, okay, you can work with Edward, which is the owner of the salon, but you have to be an assistant for 3 to 5 years. I was like, what? That's not what he told me when I met him at the club. He told me that I was going to be able to get a chair as a stylist.
Yeah,
That's
and
not
also
true,
I'm in the reality TV show already.
Exactly. So they told me, okay, just work with him for a few days, and after we'll see. And just like that, I got a chair.
I'm picturing you like Edward Scissorhands, like
he actually,
crazy, cutting hair and like hair's flying up
Edward
everywhere.
Scissorhands actually is his nickname because he was also doing this crazy move with his scissor and his hands. I promise you.
See, I felt the vibe.
So anyhow, I was this outsider, Italian, arrogant kid who just started working in this salon.
So you were arrogant?
Well, I think what made me arrogant is that I got a job without assisting, while everyone else did assisting for whatever time they assisted. So I was not liked by anyone at the beginning because like, what the fuck is this guy? He come in here, get a chairs, he has no client. What the fuck is this going on?
Yeah.
So it took me a while to really conquer everyone but that was the breakthrough.
You felt like an outsider. Did that matter to you, or did you care?
No, not really. I mean, I try to be as I am. I try to be nice to everyone. I try to just be, who I am. And then soon enough, everybody accepted me. And
do you think it didn't bother you because you were already an outsider at home growing up anyway?
I didn't quite feel like that. I wanted it so bad that, I wasn't outsider.
So nothing mattered.
It wasn't because I was an immigrant. It was because I didn't do what everybody else did. I didn't put the work into, starting from scratch. But then again, fake it until you make it has always been my motto. And that again, I fake it until I make it.
Mine too, as evident right now.
But, if you're not confident and you don't believe in yourself, even with your insecurity, who else will?
But where does that come from? Where do you think, because I think it's fascinating to think about where does it come from that some people have that? Because you have that, but that doesn't mean... for those of you listening, we are drinking ritual celebratory sake.
Sake. Mike, do you want some?
I'm still working on mine.
Awesome.
Because the thing is that I think people that don't have it think that having it means that you have zero self-doubts. But I think that people that have it still have self-doubts, but do whatever they do despite it. And kind of wrestle in between self-doubt and then believing in yourself, right? I mean, you never just walk around and think you're amazing.
But to be honest with you, no, but it wasn't about that. It's like when people tell me, oh my gosh, you were so courageous. You came to America, you didn't know anybody, you have no paper, you have no money. But I wasn't courageous about me coming. I was obsessed.
But it is courageous.
But when you're obsessed, what's courageous really is staying home and not doing it. That's courageous.
Why? I don't understand that
because
at all.
when you have a dream and you're not doing it, the regret and the failure, the feeling of a failure, not pursuing your dream. At least for me, I'm an artist and I am super driven. And I'm like, I either get there or I die trying. That's always been the way I am. So the courage would have been not going. That would have taken courage. But going, but that was the dream.
Okay, I understand.
That's what I wanted. I was obsessed with it. There was nothing else that I cared most than that.
And where do you think that came from? Where do you think that comes from?
For sure, my parents. Yeah,
Your
without a doubt.
parents,
Yeah, my
even
parents-
though they didn't.
My father didn't believe in what I wanted to do. In fact, when I left, he's like, "Oh, he's gonna be home for the town celebration in September." I left in March. Yeah, 20 years into it. I'm still
So
here.
you think the fact that he didn't believe in you made you more
Well,
driven?
definitely that even motivated me even more. No, but what made me more, just seeing him, how hard he worked his whole life. He is another underdog who started from, under the shit and built something from nothing against every odds. My mom as well lost her father while she was pregnant of me, and a life of again challenging obstacles and a lot of bad luck. But they still kept their positivity and they still worked hard, and I got that from them. Without a doubt. That's probably the biggest gift I got from them.
You got it from them, you think, just through hearing their stories and knowing their stories, or is it something that they did or something that they actually that you can put your finger on that they taught you? Because I think it's so fascinating.
But I think leading by example is always the key, and I think they
Right.
led by example. Seeing them how they overcome, difficulties and obstacles without really asking anybody's help or.
But you have siblings, and not everybody in your family is the way that you are.
No, but I think
So-
it's probably printed in my DNA as well.
Right, exactly. I just think it's so interesting, right?
But how funny is
why?
that you have a sibling yourself, and we all grew up with the same values and the same, education. But everybody's made their own way,
Right.
and everybody has their own character, and we're forged in a simple way, in that way, in your DNA, probably.
Yeah,
I don't know,
think so,
but I've been
probably.
very coherent with. If I look back at the 16 years myself, I'm into the same shit I was into back then. I didn't change. I probably evolve. I'm more mature. I'm more wise. Whatever. But the thing that I like, that I gravitate around, are exactly the same.
What do you miss most about Italy?
The simplicity.
Of the life?
The simplicity of the life, the feeling of community, the simplicity. I don't know if it makes sense, just a word of simplicity, but it's a very simple life where America gave me everything when it comes to opportunity, and I built a beautiful family, an incredible career. I still don't believe, every day I'm really, really grateful. I will never have achieved the same with double the effort in Italy, unfortunately. But at the same things here, I believe is a more mechanic thing. If you're not part of the American system, if you're not succeeding at what you do, America has very little to give you. America has a lot to give you if you are part of that system where you are one of the 1% or 10%, whatever it is. But if you're not someone who's lucky enough to have your breakthrough, you're struggling to pay your bills, you cannot afford to get sick. Those are the sad part about America, the fact that, a lot of people are hopeless. That's probably, if you're hopeless in Italy, you still can have a good life, You can still get a coffee for like 80 cents of €1. Maybe now it's €1 with inflation and everything, but that's the difference, Here, for simple things, the cost of living is very high. That's probably the difference. And that's why everything can tend to be about money in that sense, in that regard.
Do you think you'll ever go back?
My dream, honestly, it's at some point in my life. Well, I've done 20 years now. I'm asking myself, do I want to go back as an old man? I'm 41 now.
You're not an
No,
old
I'm just trying to say,
man.
do I want to go back as an old man?
Okay.
You know what I'm trying to say?
Yes.
So that means,
I'm
should I
just
go home when I'm 70
making sure
to do
you're saying
what?
what you're saying.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
No, my dream is, to be honest with you, one day to be able to purchase a beautiful property somewhere in Europe by the Mediterranean, close to an international airport, so I can fly in and out from the United States, because I still want to keep a feet here, and open a bed and breakfast. That's my dream.
Really?
Yeah.
So you see a future where you're not cutting hair?
No, I would
Or doing
definitely.
hair?
No, I would be definitely cutting hair, but I would be.
That's the best bed and breakfast
I'm never gonna.
ever.
But that's what I'm trying to tell you. It's not gonna be about me not cutting hair. I will cut hair until I die. That's something I enjoy doing. Maybe not at the rhythm I'm doing it today.
What do you love about cutting hair the most, would you say?
Well, it's a vehicle to express my creativity, and it's also a vehicle for me to meet interesting people like yourself. Over the years, I built a tribe of followers.
But I mean, I'm sure you have to deal with a lot of shit too. Like
But
a
it's very
lot
little
of annoying people.
Yes, there is a lot of those too. But I gotta say, compared to the people that I actually like, I would say it's 5-10%. So the majority of people that sit in my chair are people that I truly enjoy the conversation, and you know how many friends I built over the years just because I do this.
Right.
So this is definitely a part that I love. But I just love the artistry of cutting hair. I mean, this has always been something I like. So the dream is to open a bed and breakfast with whatever 4, 6, 8 rooms. I don't know. where I can just work around experiences, because that's really what I gravitate around, giving
That's
people
true.
experiences. So as you know, I'm obsessed with music and collecting records, and I'm obsessed with food, and I'm obsessed with books. So I would like to create a place where I can find all my book collection or my vinyl collection. I can plant my basil and whatever else I'm gonna grow in the garden. And I'll be cutting hair, and when I'm done with the haircut, I'll be, Lucie, go take a swim now, wash it out. So that's the dream. The dream is that, be able to offer a full experience to myself and to others, because when I please myself, I tend to please others.
You wash people's hair in the Mediterranean.
That's the dream, though.
What?
I don't want to get rich out of it. I just want to keep living, and
my
just
God.
that's really my dream.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're going to have to surrender your American passport for saying you don't want to get rich out of it.
Well, in Italy or Europe, it's very hard to get rich out of having a bed and breakfast. You're lucky if you break even.
A lot of people have this stereotype that hairdressers are also like therapists, right? People say
I
that.
am a therapist without a doubt.
You think that?
Yeah, 100%.
Because what is it about that? Because I feel myself doing that too. I mean, we became great friends, and I love you so much, and so I, of course, tell you everything about myself. But what is it about sitting in the chair and having somebody touch your head that makes you tell them stuff you don't tell
I don't
other
really know,
people?
but if you think about it, every time I have a person sitting in my chair, it's kind of like I'm going on a date.
Oh,
The amount of information that we exchange,
that's true.
personal information.
And you have to feel each other out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I like to ask questions. I like to listen.
Yeah.
And I think by doing that while I'm doing my service, I get to know people, and they like to get to know me. And so in an hour of a service, when someone is sitting in my chair, we have an incredible personal experience that, if you think about it, the closest thing is going on a date. What other job could you name where you can have that?
Podiatrist?
What's a podiatrist?
People that fucking take care of your feet.
Oh shit. That's why I don't know.
No, that's true. And also the way that you work, at least, you you don't kind of, because I think that always a bad, if I can say that, hairdresser is someone that just has the cuts that they do, and they put it on everybody.
Yeah.
And no matter who comes in, this is the type of cut they do, and whether or not it's good for you, but you don't have that. You don't have your...
But I have to tell you, though, I think it comes down to personality and not just my job. I think some people are like, I've been doing this for 30 years. I'm like, sure, but you never really evolve in 30 years. And, my journey into this profession is always been about working with the best people and trying to evolve out of whatever I'm doing. I get bored easily, so that's not something that I do because I have to. It's a necessity for me.
Right.
Diversity is something that's why I live in America, because I love diversity. So if I don't put diversity into my job, what kind of hairdresser am I? What kind of person am I? It will not be coherent with who I am.
Have you ever really fucked up someone's hair?
Oh my gosh, at the beginning, everyone.
Really? Like,
Well,
what did you do?
Well, even like a scissor over comb, a graduation haircut. At the beginning, when you don't know how to do it, you're basically doing line on everybody. So I did a lot of lines, not with my nose, but with my scissors.
Because I have a friend who once went to one of those free school haircuts.
Yeah.
And she came back and they had shaved a triangle into the top of her head. And she was crying. We were in high school. She was like 17, and she was like, "Oh my God, what the fuck?" She literally had a triangle cut out of the top of
think
her
about
head.
being a colorist. I've been a colorist as long as I've been a hairdresser.
Right, that's true. You also
And
do color.
that's you dealing with chemistry, right?
Yeah.
So as well,
Did you ever burn anybody's hair off?
Not really. I've done my mistakes at the beginning, of course, like everyone. But the fear of doing mistakes is like, for you, you're a comedian. The fear of bombing is what makes you better.
Yeah, of course.
You
but
don't
want
wanna feel that shit again.
Disfiguring someone by bombing, that would be
disfiguring
fucking
would be,
stressful.
yeah. Luckily, I've never been bad enough to disfigure anyone, but I've done a lot of
And hair
fucked
is
up shit at the
important to
beginning.
people.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
That's why
What's
hairdresser.
the worst person you've ever had in your chair? Don't say my sister.
The worst person that I have in my chair is the one that started the service by saying, "I never could find anyone who can cut my hair." I'm like, bitch, you're 50 years old, you never find anyone who can cut your hair. Maybe something's wrong with you more than the hairdresser, right?
Have you ever not given someone a haircut because you didn't like the vibe?
Yes, I did. That's actually kind of something that you learn with time. You know, when you're young, you always want to say yes to every opportunity that comes your way because you have no choice. And slowly, when you get to be a little bit more established, you also realize that saying no is actually more important than saying yes. Especially because myself, I'm a very sensitive person, and I know the effort and love and attention that I put into every service I do. And the pain that I get whenever I cannot please someone is so much higher than, the check I get out of,
Wow.
At the end of the day, I always think that one client doesn't make me rich or poor. But the aggravation of working with somebody who drains me stays with me for weeks. And it's a torture.
Wow.
Yeah. So when I feel that the energy is not there on a consultation, which I believe is the most important part of a service, I tend to say, you know what? I'm not sure I'm the right person to cut your hair. I always try to blame it on me, to be quite frankly with you. Also because, I don't want to hurt anybody's feeling. But I know it will hurt my own feelings.
And how do people react?
Well, the worst thing that you can do to someone is refusing them, to be honest with you. But, I don't mean to offend anybody, to be quite frankly with you, but I know I don't want to get hurt either. And I know if something is there or is not there. And if it's not there, there's no chemistry. It's like going on a date with somebody you have no chemistry. Why would you want to go for another beer? You know what I'm trying to say? So, yeah, learning to say no.
Because you want to get a haircut.
Exactly. And how about when I'm trying to say no, and when I say no, they want it even more.
Oh
so
my
then I need to
God.
get out of it because they're like, well, what do you mean? No, I want you to do my hair. No, don't listen to what I just said. I want you to do whatever you want. That's the hardest way to get out of that.
And then what do you do?
What do? You try the best you can to get out of it. And if you can't, you got to do it.
Wow. But do you have like a horror story, something that traumatized you?
Well, there have been quite a few horror stories, honestly. But probably the worst thing that ever happened to me is probably I'm going through pain right now by telling you about it.
Yes, that's what we want.
Well,
this is
I'll
Hollywood.
I'll tell you this story, and I'll tell this story to all hairdressers out there. This was a nightmare. It took me a while to get over it. So, about 10 years ago, I was hired from this client of mine. I was doing actually all the family to do her hair for the wedding. And, I give her 5 different trials, which was already a red flag. And then when we finally find the look she was going for, she was negotiating on the price as well. Other red flag. Anyhow, because I was doing all the family hair and I already got into it and I already did all the trial, I was kind of forced to do the wedding. So as I always do, it was a wedding in Miami actually. I was still living in New York. I went to the wedding, I did all my job, and once I was done with doing her hair, as I always do, I politely say goodbye. I say goodbye to everyone, and I just left. That was a Saturday. I never heard anything back. On a Monday morning, I received this text message. I don't remember the correct word, but what I remember was having you doing my hair for the wedding was the worst experience of my life. I can't believe you left without even saying goodbye.
The worst experience of my life?
And I don't wish this to anyone. I kind of look at the text message, I feel like, am I being punked? This is like fucked up. I was so hurt. You can imagine, Lucie, you know me. I really did everything I could to accommodate those people, like from the multiple trial to, whatever I could, really. But at the same time, as I do as a protocol, it's a wedding day. I'm not going to be there bothering you once I'm done with my hair, unless we previously agreed on me staying around and touch up your hair, whatever. I, like a ninja, I smoothly go without, interrupting or bothering, the ceremony, right?
Yeah.
So, wow, I was like, damn, this is really hurting. And not only that, because I was really friendly with the sister, with the mother, and, everyone involved with it. So I was like, wow, not only I lost that client, but I lost the whole family. The family all came back to get their hair done like nothing happened. And, I said to the mother, I was like, I don't know really what happened, but, this is the text message I got. I was really, really hurt. And, that's it. I expressed my feeling and I let it go. I tried to let it go. And about a year into it, I got a text message from the bride saying, hey, Emmy, I just wanted to apologize to you for the way I treated you and for what from the text message I wrote you. I would like for you to do my hair again and please forgive me.
Wow, this is a fucking telenovela.
It took, but for
What
a
the
year, let me
hell?
tell you, because I know that a wedding is a very important part of anybody's life. You know, your wedding, and just the idea that I could have ruined somebody's wedding in that matter, it really destroyed me emotionally. You know, but that message, when I saw that message, I was like, okay, the circle is finally closed.
Yeah.
And I text back, I don't, I forgive you. I don't hold a grudge against you. You really hurt my feelings, but I'm sorry. I won't do your hair again. The magic is over.
Ooh,
And I finished it like that.
shit, the
But,
magic is over.
What, how could I ever do your hair again and forget
No,
what
of
you
course,
put me
but
through? It really hurt my feelings.
That's epic. The magic is
Yeah.
over is epic.
The magic is over. I said, then I'm sorry. I'm not gonna longer
That's a
do your
good way
hair.
to break up with someone. I'm
But
sorry.
I gotta tell you,
The
for
magic is
a year I was emotionally destroyed about that. I was
A
like,
year?
yeah, that's how I am.
Wow.
I let it torture me for that long, even though I know I did my best to accommodate everything. But you know, unfortunately, I'm also a pleaser. I always trying to please everyone, even though it's unrealistic. But yeah, that's what happened.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Another wedding that I did, that's a crazy story. I don't do wedding anymore, unless it's a very good friend of mine. But at the time I was doing a lot of those. And I had this other highly insecure bride at the time, which I'm not going to mention her name. But she got
Demi
married.
Moore.
Let me tell you this. And when I met the family, I'm like, oh my gosh, now I understand the whole situation. And after I was done with the service again, I left. And she took a Xanax while I was doing her hair because
A
she was
Xanax at
yeah
her
she was
wedding?
extremely nervous. I don't know about what. After when I finish the story, you'll know about what she was nervous about. Long story short, she got married. First dance with her husband. She's been drinking champagne. She completely passed out. Following day, she declared she's a lesbian, and she break up with the guy, and that's the end of the story.
Oh my God. What? This is insanity.
Yeah.
Okay, you need a TV show.
Oh
Absolutely.
my
That
god!
is crazy.
If I could write a book about hair stories, let me tell you,
You
My
can. You
gosh.
can. We've talked about this. You need to. You need to write a
But
book
those
about
stories
hair
are just like, for me they're painful even to remember, because I was like, I enjoy people doing well. I enjoy people being happy. I don't enjoy people not doing well, or having things happening like this is pretty sad, to be honest with you. But I witnessed it and I saw it and I'm like, wow.
That's crazy.
American
Yeah.
weddings, this whole big ceremony, thousands of guests, millions of dollars.
Yeah.
But what was really missing is the sauce, love, right?
Yeah. Or in that woman's case, the pussy.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
That's a good one.
But wow. So that's insane. I mean, that's why I'm saying you deal with a lot of
Those are
shit.
probably the most traumatic things that ever happened to me. Yeah.
It's interesting because, from the outside, you would think, well, that's kind of goes with the territory. But if you care so much and you have to care that much to be that obsessed and to have gone through what you
Yeah.
went through and to have sacrificed what you sacrificed and everything, then of course that's going to hurt you. But at the end of your story, at the moment at least, you are completely an example for the American dream.
Well,
Wouldn't you say?
That's
like
No,
the
I
American
acknowledge
dream, what
that. I'm very humbled and
you-
grateful for that. But that's the truth. I
You
mean,
have
I came
a
here
beautiful
with.
house in Miami. You have a
Thank you.
family.
Thank you.
People love what you do. You've
I'm
established
very grateful
yourself.
for that. I'm very grateful for that. And again, if I put the same effort in Italy, I will never accomplish half the things I've accomplished in this country. And for that, America is second to none, unfortunately, because the good things about this country is that meritocracy is real, and it's not
Is
about
that a good thing, you think?
100%.
Uh-oh.
Well, in my case, yes. In Italy, it's always about who do you know, who can give you a push, And here, if you're from Italy, better than Romania, better than wherever, doesn't really make a difference. It's all about your talent and your effort. And, my effort was always second to none. I don't know about my talent, but my effort for sure
would
it was.
argue with that, that some people are, in this country, that it's not that the opportunities aren't equal. You know what I mean? Like, yes, you came here and you worked for what you have, but there are other people that do that and don't manage to get there.
But I think really what makes a difference is the effort. And that's why I don't think everybody should have the same thing, because not everybody have the same effort, you know. Some people are lazy, some people are really, really determined. And I'm one of the second type, you know. I'm highly determined. And, you know, like I said, I either get there or I die trying. There is not that option in what I do. So
yeah.
I think that's really what set me apart from the rest.
So in a way, are you proud to be American?
Yes, I'm equally proud to be American and to be Italian, without a doubt.
And you're raising your kids to speak Italian and
English
take them to Italy.
and Spanish. I
Right.
mean,
Yeah.
you know, I'm a citizen of planet Earth.
Do your kids say they're Italian? Do your kids?
Oh my gosh, I don't know. I don't really.
Do you think they like feel a connection to?
But you know, I do a really big mind fuck with them all the time. I was like, Dante, who do you think? Dante and Leonard, the name of my children, and I asked them, who do you think invented pizza? They're like, Italian dad? It's like, yes, of course. Who do you think invented Ferrari? Like, Italian dad? Yes, of course. And I go on and on and on about gelato and whatever fuck else. So every time they see something cool, they're like, hey, daddy, did Italian invented that? I was like, well, no, we didn't invent that.
You're like, almost. There's a little squeaky toy in here.
Man. But I wanted to be proud, and I want them to be connected to, you know, wherever their father comes from. You know, I'm proud to be Italian, but I will be proud to be from whatever. That's my origin. That's where I came from, and you know, that's really about it.
Right. Yeah.
But we are from the same planet at the end of the day. You know, we were the one who put borders. But you know, Italy until 1950s or 60s, we weren't even. No, sorry. What am I saying? 1940s. We weren't even like a nation. We were a lot of different regions,
right.
And that's why we are a country of individuality and not collective. We only get together for the World Cup, and that's about it.
Right. Well, that's something.
That's the reality of it.
That's something.
I wish that we had the pride that American has, you know.
But the Italians are super proud people.
Well, Americans are much more than that.
Yeah. That's about to end real soon. But I always love sayings and like proverbs and stuff like that from different countries and different languages.
Yes.
Do you have a favorite Italian? You told me that your grandmother left you a book.
She left me a book with
of
over
Italian
hundreds of those
saints, which I think is like the most amazing thing ever.
I'll tell you a few of them that I really like.
Tell me one that's your favorite.
Non si può avere la bocca piena e la moglie ubriaca. Or non si può avere la bottiglia piena e la moglie ubriaca. Means you cannot have the bottle full and your wife drunk. Does it make sense?
You can't have the bottle full
and the wife drunk.
Your wife drunk. So that means
you cannot have everything in life.
You can't have everything,
That's
right?
That's
you you have to sacrifice the bottle to make your wife happy.
Yeah. And the next
Just
one
give
is
her some fucking underwear. She doesn't want
the next
bottle.
one is there is no summer without flies. Non c'è estate senza mosche.
I love that. There's no summer without flies.
Yeah, I mean,
flies or mosquitoes?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
Wait, flies or mosquitoes?
Sì, mosche.
Mosche is fly or mosquito?
Non c'è estate senza mosche.
So does mosche mean fly or mosquito?
Yeah, flies.
Fly, okay.
Yeah.
I
In
love
Italy, we're
it.
full of them. They're just like...
Wait, how do you say it? Non c'è che?
Non c'è estate
Non c'è estate
senza mosche.
senza mosche.
Yes.
Motherfucker.
Fuck yeah,
I
man.
love it. Okay, Emiliano, we have come to the end of the podcast where I do the Immigrant Jam questionnaire with every single guest that comes on this show. There's no right or wrong answers. Are you ready for it?
Yes, go for it.
Okay. If you were casting a movie about the Statue of Liberty, who would you, Emiliano De Pasqual,
Yes.
from the region of Treviso, cast as the Statue of Liberty?
Has to be an American actress.
No, whoever. It can be a
The
cartoon.
Statue of Liberty. Oh my gosh, that's a tough fucking question.
It can be the woman who destroyed your life for a year.
No, fuck her. She's definitely not the Statue of Liberty. What is the name of that actress that plays... well, the only woman in the Avengers, what's her name?
Scarlett Johansson?
Maybe her.
Okay.
I think she could be a good one. She has those very predominant...
tits.
Yes, tits.
That's the word you were looking for.
Cheekbones.
Okay. If you could add one face to Mount Rushmore, who would you add?
Mine.
Oh, shit. Oh, I got very humble when I was about 25. You know, that was great for me in my life. Yeah, humility. Okay.
What about David Hasselhoff? He's right standing at me there.
It's I think adding you would be great. I love that.
No,
and it should be a talking face.
I'm usually behind the camera, not in front of the camera. For sure, it will not be me.
If you could add one amendment to the Constitution, what would you add? The U.S. Constitution.
One amendment. Legalize drugs, man. At least nobody will die from fentanyl.
I like that answer. That's good. Yeah. Fucking get everybody a fucking free bag of cocaine already.
Well, but that has to be pharmaceutical one, pure.
Sure. Great. I love it. What's your favorite word in Italian?
Cazzo, probably.
Cazzo?
Yeah.
Which can you tell people what it means?
Well, it means dick, but in English we'll translate as shit.
And you use it more like also a sentence filler, right? You put it everywhere. Que
No,
cazzo,
you use it as shit.
Cazzo
Yeah,
this.
but it's definitely as also shit. You use it for everything, but
Right.
yeah, I would say probably that.
Cazzo.
Yeah, maybe actually it's actually more related to fuck. Because you use
yeah.
it for everything.
Right, yeah.
Good and bad.
Yeah. Okay, cazzo.
that's
I
how I would
love it. If you were president of the United States of
Yeah.
America, what American food would you ban?
Oh my gosh.
What American food do you think is disgusting? What American
Chicken
food?
parm?
Chicken parm? Because that's
Yeah.
not Italian.
No, I mean.
And they have it in
how
every
will ever be?
Italian restaurant.
By the way, we don't put cheese on fish either.
I know. It's so funny because Italians love the fact that that the real Italians don't put cheese on fish.
And we don't put vodka on our penne either. We drink
I
it.
once was at a restaurant in Berlin where they have fish on Fridays. And I had like a pasta and it had like a little bit of seafood.
Yeah.
And I was like, can I have some
Yeah.
Parmesan? And they were like, and I was like in a relationship with a Greek guy. And in Greece, they put cheese on pasta with seafood all the time. And I was like, can I please have some Parmesan? And they were like, no. And I was like, what do you mean? And they were like, it's Friday. It's fish day. No one gets cheese for their pasta.
So diplomatic though. Instead of
They didn't
telling
give
you
me
to
the
fuck
fucking
off.
cheese.
And another one. No fucking fennel seeds on your sausages either.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, no fennel seeds in that. I hate
they're
fennel
like-
anyway.
Italian sausages don't do have fennel in it.
Yeah, they have pizza
Or
in them.
garlic
Hello?
either.
Everybody knows
Yes,
that.
exactly.
If the program, they have gelato inside them, you fucking idiots. Okay, that's great. If you could deport one American person, who would you deport?
If I could deport Nancy Pelosi. That's easy. Fucking can't stand her.
Holy shit. Wow.
I cannot stand that cunt.
Did you storm the Capitol?
Since you just came back from fucking Australia, I will say cunt.
Oh, I did? Oh, okay. I thought Nancy Pelosi was in Australia. I was like, she was?
No, she
Wait,
wasn't.
did
I
were
can't stand her,
you
actually.
did you storm the Capitol?
No,
Did you
it
do the
wasn't
hair
me.
for everybody
No.
that stormed the Capitol
No, it
on
wasn't me,
January
baby.
6th?
Come on, you know me.
There was good
It was not
hairstyles.
me.
There was some wild hairstyles.
Even though I regret to say I did vote for Joe Biden.
Okay, cut the tape. Cut the tape. God damn it. Oh no. Well, on the next podcast, Emiliano and I go head to head. No, but that's very interesting. And you would deport Nancy Pelosi. Okay,
Yes, I will deport her.
Interesting. Okay. Well, there you
Who
go.
would you deport?
Who would I deport? I think Tucker Carlson.
I don't even know who that is.
Great, even better. Fuck you. Most highest rated TV show. Fuck you, Tucker Carlson.
Is the guy from CNN? No.
No,
Okay, sorry. That's what
no,
I thought.
he's not the guy from CNN. Yeah, that's
Mike.
true.
Mike, who is he?
One of the worst human beings.
But the Fox News guy.
Oh, I don't watch Fox News, so
Yeah.
that's why I don't know.
But anyway, I don't want to alienate our far right audience here.
Or far left either. We are centered.
I don't know about that. I'm pretty empty. I
You're
think
pretty
I'm
lefty.
past
You're
the
pretty
left.
lefty.
I think
You're-
there's something else there
You're
where I
pretty
just
lefty.
care about people.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's amazing and delicious and nutritious. Emiliano, the final and most important question of the
Yeah.
podcast. The reason why I do this podcast.
Yeah. You want to know why I picked the figs?
Oh, that's true. I do want to know why you pick figs.
Well,
to put
in my
your
house in
jam.
Italy, actually, in my parent house,
Yeah.
they have a fig tree.
Yeah.
But there's a dilemma about the fig tree. If I get there too early in the season, there is no figs.
Yeah.
If I get there too late, they eat all the figs.
They're July, right? Figs.
You never. It
July.
depends on the weather. That's why you never know.
Oh, fresh figs.
But
are the best.
if I get there too late, they eat all the figs. So
I love it.
I gotta get there right on time.
So are you getting there on time?
I hope so. I don't know. I haven't seen what the plant
Are
situation
they
is like.
green or
They're
black?
Green. They're green.
The green big
But
ones?
yeah, the green figs.
best
Forget
ones.
about the jam, but you can have them with prosciutto. You can have a raw from the tree.
just raw.
It's one of my favorite summer fruit with
Yeah.
peaches probably and cherries.
No, figs are the best. I agree.
Yeah.
Okay, but seriously though,
Yeah,
can we
go
just
for
be
it.
serious for
Yeah,
a
yeah.
second? Do you know how I can meet David Hasselhoff?
I thought you were gonna ask me about David that likes the 36.5 shoe size.
What? Oh,
you
today I
before.
saw Emiliano earlier today, and I showed him these shoes that I saw in a window, and he goes, "What are you, a 36.5?" I was like, "What the fuck? Yes. Who fucking guesses someone's shoe size like that? What kind of a weird talent is that? What is that? That's fucking wild." He's like, "Yeah, I know people's shoe sizes." I'm like, "What?" And then he told me that he has a friend who works in a shoe store who's obsessed with Asian women's feet.
Exotic Asians.
And he works in the shoe store. That's so creepy. I'm never going to a shoe store again. Anyway, do you know how I can meet David Hasselhoff? Very important.
No, I have no idea how you can meet.
Thank you. Finally, a fucking honest answer. Okay. Everybody else with their, why don't you message him on Instagram? Thank you.
Does he have on
Finally, someone
Instagram?
is honest. He is on Instagram, but
All right.
you're honest.
Not
You have no
everybody's in.
idea.
Not
I have no
everybody's there.
idea.
Brad Pitt is not in it.
No, Brad Pitt needs to check himself into a facility. Did you see this fucking outfit that he wore?
I saw he was wearing
Crazy.
a skirt. What the fuck was that all
He
about?
looked like Mrs. Doubtfire. What the fuck was that?
He looked like Mrs.
Anyway,
Maisel.
I don't know. He looked like a Mrs. something. Emiliano, where can people find you on Instagram?
Well, my Instagram is Emiliano De Pasqual. And I'm
And if you can spell
my
that.
website as well is
Oh, you have a
Emiliano De
website.
Pasqual. EMILIANO DEPasqual. I spell it correctly. Emiliano De Pasqual.
There you go. Que cazzo.
Shout out to my wife who built the website. Is an amazing web designer.
Shout out to
Ciao,
Anna.
Anna. I love you.
The best. Listen, this is amazing. You people out there, if you want a true genius to touch your head once in your life, go to Emiliano. You will not regret it ever. And as a matter of fact, not only will you not regret it, you will all your worries will disappear forever because you'll just be
Too
like,
kind.
wow, my hair is amazing. I love this.
I love you, Lucie. You're the best.
I love you. You're the best. I could talk to you for hours. We hope that you write your book. You need a TV show.
I need
Everything.
the journal first.
Yes.
Let's go from there first.
Need to do all that. Follow Emiliano. He posts amazing pictures, really fun stuff, beautiful inspiration for your hair. And he's a great guy. Thank you for listening. Thank you to everybody.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. Thank you to Mike Albanese.
Shout out to
yes.
Mike.
Shout
Thank
out
you,
to
Mike.
Mike. Shout out to our patron.
Shout out to the humidity who's
Douchebag
persecuting
Steve.
us.
Can you shout out Douchebag Steve?
Shout out to douchebag Steve. The one and
Douchebag
only.
Steve, the one and only, aka Robbie. We love you. Check out the Patreon. Please rate and review the podcast on iTunes if you can. That helps a lot. And like it and subscribe on YouTube and check out the Patreon. And I already said that. I'm a little bit drunk. I love you. Thanks for listening.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Good night.
If you liked what you just heard, don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, recommend to all your friends, and if you hated it, recommend it to your enemies. Thank you for listening to Immigrant Jam, the podcast with me, Lucie Pohl. Have a delicious and nutritious day.